The guys working at Rev Shift, I know you're working hard to provide these lubes. So thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are back with another one. And if you've watched the other video, we started honing out the old engine and it didn't go so well. So apparently you're not supposed to dry hone these things. So if you guys knew that and you commented that, thank you. It's a little late now. But after speaking with Angelo, it sounds like we kind of might have just took off a little more material than we wanted to. And so what's gonna end up happening is that block is no longer good because I don't feel like bringing that to a machine shop, paying all that money. So we ended up buying another engine, and that's on the side. We're gonna do that in the next one, and then hopefully get that thing together so that we don't waste any more time, because now Lock City just released their schedule and it's almost time. We got like a month and a half and we have almost no time. The car is nowhere near done. But today we're gonna get started on the rear subframe, take that apart, hopefully start grinding, sanding, whatever we need to do, maybe spray paint it, and then get the new bushings in. So without further ado, let's get into it. And if you haven't noticed, Juan isn't here today because he's just too busy for us. But I'm gonna show you what's going on with the engine so far because it's still here, all right? And this is what got rounded off, okay? So these are 11 mil. Don't listen to Juan. I know he said 7/8 in the live video, but these are actually 11. So don't be like me. Don't round that off because now we just can't get this one out. And then we got one other one that's in there that's also rounded off. Hold on, let's give her a good couple turns. This one, also rounded off. The 11 is useless. Yes, I tried the 10, also useless, and now we're here. So, looks like this engine is useless to us now, and it's kind of just wait. But maybe down the line we'll end up using this thing so that we could build it, and for now, it'll just sit here, I guess, or we're gonna throw it out, I don't know. But the rear subframe is where we're at because we need this thing to at least roll so that it could get to Tyler so that he could actually weld a couple other things onto it, so. Okay, so for us, for the rear subframe, just the easiest way to do this is gonna be to take it apart, and that way you could just do things in different sections. And if you look at it, you have the rear subframe itself, right? This is the main piece, and then these are all the bushings that we're gonna take out, remember? And then you have the upper control arms, which we're gonna take out, and then we'll evaluate how these bushings look, which I hope they're not too shot, but we might end up replacing those anyway. And then eventually the axles, we actually haven't been able to get out yet, so we need to somehow knock those out. And then we can sand all that down, sand everything pretty much, and it looks terrible. And then once we get sanding, we should be able to spray paint it. So yeah, I guess let's get to taking it apart. I couldn't get the bushings out. I tried the drill method and that didn't work. And since that didn't work, we're just gonna press them out probably tomorrow or the next day. But I figure we might as well already prep the surface that we can, and that'll kind of get us going. But before anything, make sure you got your PPE, goggles, and wear a mask because you're playing with rust. And I was like you know what I mean? I also never wore a mask, but then you get old and you're like, listen, I don't want those all black boogies. So wear your PPEs and get to work. Listen, I know I said we'd press the bushings out, but I finally gave in and we're just gonna burn them out. So we got a torch. We got the good old rear subframe, which looks pretty good for what it is now, but we're gonna torch her up and hopefully burn them out. So they're on fire, and now we're gonna let them get a little toasty, and then hopefully we can get them out because these things have been awful. So if you have these, just know this is what you're gonna have to go through.
That was a money shot if I ever say so. What are we doing?
Trying to clean up these arms so that we could get to painting them. And obviously there's a lot of surface rust on them, so we gotta get all that off before we can paint them. And that's what we're doing.
Why are we painting them?
So that they look nice and that they don't rust anymore, which is the main part. So we got the rear subframe painted, and if you've watched the other videos, we've got the rev shifts, and these things pretty easy. I mean, everything's pretty much labeled. This is the drift edition, like we said. They come in different durometers if you watch the other video, and these are gonna be good to go. Still got bubbles on them. Do you see that? You see the bubbles?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we gotta take these apart, clean up the inside of this rear subframe's hole. So once these are all cleaned up, then we can just pop these in here, hopefully with a little bit of lube. Like, please look at his lube.
A little bit of lube.
Like,
is that lube or is that
the guys working at Rev Shift, I know you're working hard to provide these lubes, so thank you. So these are gonna go in here. It's gonna be sick and shouldn't be too bad. So
are you gonna press them in by hand?
By hand, and a rubber mallet. Yeah, hand and
okay.
Rubber. Let's do it. I was just moving my shoulders off. So a couple updates. One thing that I want to mention, just for everybody, if you are getting the sleeves off, if you watched the earlier portion of this video, we were just heating it from the top and trying to get the old bushings out. That's not going to work for you. I can already tell that right now. So if you just heat this right here, same thing for these, just heat them on the outsides and then just hold the heat here as long as possible. You'll start to hear like a weird crackling noise. Once you hear that, that means that it's warming up. So just keep doing that, and then eventually you could just grab a mallet, some type of socket or something, and then it'll just pop right out. So that's where we messed up. That's why it took so long. And we tried doing it with the screwdriver, tried doing it with all that, which is why now we need this thing so that we can actually clean these up, because the metal is not actually perfectly circular anymore. So because it's not like that, we have to clean them up so that the new bushings have some type of guidance to actually get fed into before we start hitting it with the rubber mallet or the regular mallet, and then that way we don't mess them up. So, yeah.
What's that in your hand?
This is a tool.
What's the name of that tool?
It's called... What's it called?
It's called the Dremel.
It's called the Dremel. Yeah. I can't believe people trust me to work on a car. This is called the Dremel. And
I want to say trust you to work on a car. This is your car.
I trust me to work on my own car.
Okay, there we go.
This is a Dremel. It's got a little sand tape on it. Sandpaper on it. So, and then we're gonna hit up the insides of this so that we could make sure that the metal is nice and ready to go. And yeah, so let's get into it. Now that everything's cleaned up, you're gonna use the lube that RevShift sent you and put it on to the actual bushing. Because once these are separated, you have the bottom, you have the top. If you mess it up, it's pretty much just impossible to do so, because the RB is like the right back, and then you have like the front top and front back and all that. And then even the bushings that's in the middle, that actually has the markings on them. So you pretty much can't mess this up. It's pretty much dummy proof, thank God. So shout out to RevShift for that. And once we do that, it should be good to go. And if you have a press, this will make your life a lot easier. If you don't, and you're like us, the rubber mallet. So try to get this like started if you can, and if you can't, then you know, we'll just send it. Bam, perfect. Okay, it's going good. All right. All right.
Who needs to press when you got Habibi power?
Yeah, so you get the idea, but that's pretty much it. Now you're gonna do this for all 4 of them, and then do the bottoms. The front of the actual subframe, I mean, it has this little lip on it. Ugh, I'm about to break a knee over here. It has a little lip on it, so that lip is gonna go in conjunction with this lip, and then it needs to sit like this, so that when this comes down, it'll match up right over here. Pretty simple. Got it? See? You got how perfect that is. I'm actually out of breath. Okay.
Whenever you guys take everything apart, always remember to label stuff. Let me show you guys. R for right, not R for not right.
As you can tell, we've pretty much got it down to almost being back together. It's not quite there yet, but we have a few more bushings that we need to do. We actually need to change out the front diff bushing over here needs to be done. The trailing arm bushings, these, remember in the other video, they were pretty shot, or was that the beginning of this video? Whatever, they were pretty shot. These need to be replaced on both sides. One thing I would recommend when you're changing these, you have the stock bracket, and this is the stock OEM bracket, right? And ours is just rusted, so we needed to change it anyway. I mean, I don't know what it is. I have like OCD with it. But we're gonna change this, and then we have this one. The reason why we're installing this one is because, if you look, in here, you don't have a lot of adjustment, right? Whereas you see the amount of adjustment in this one. What you're trying to do is, because it's an LS, it's a lot of power, we need to be able to somehow put that power down, right? And this isn't just for someone who has an LS, because I had these on my old one, and that only had like 140 horsepower. But if you're at that level and you need somewhat grip, like forward grip, what you're gonna need is a toe in the rear. So to be able to get toe in, you're gonna need to make adjustments. And to be able to make adjustments, this is not gonna do it for you. So if that's not gonna do it, you're gonna need to put these on so that once you get the 3 bolts in for the trailing arms, you can actually move them. And in that way, go get an alignment from someone who knows what they're doing. This way, you don't have to mess it up or just wing it yourself, I don't know.
Oh, like Pep Boys?
Sure, Pep Boys fits fine, I guess. I don't know. Can they do that? Do they have a lift for that? Whatever. Get this, and then that way you can just toe them in, and now you have forward grip. So that's the magic, and that's how you lay the power down. Yeah. So, after everything is said and done, we are officially done. The color combination is amazing. It looks awesome. I love that we spray paint. It's really just to make it kind of look good for what it is now. And then that way when we put it on the car, it's gonna look good. And the color combo is sick, so shout out to Rev for them. And then this way, oh, and if you're wondering about the brackets, they're Drift Tech. So Drift Tech, look up Drift Tech E36 trailing arm brackets and you'll be able to find it's like $100-something. So before anything. But that's pretty much the end of it. I know the reason why we haven't put all this together is because we took all the bolts off, and if you're like us, make sure you label them, because we didn't, and now we don't know where the bolts go, so now we need to actually play like Legos and see which one goes where, and that's not gonna be fun. So
by the way, people, he must be French. He used a lot of we.
I think I thought this was a team effort.
Team effort. You took them apart. You didn't label them. That's a you issue. I'm just here to put them together.
All right, so actually, he's right, because if you watch the beginning of this video, he wasn't in it. So the first half of this video, he's not even in it because he doesn't care about this car. So this is a one-man team right here. What's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna find out where these bolts go. We're gonna put the bolts on, and then after everything is back in the car, we'll be able to take the hubs off because the hubs need to get pulled, and then we need to run the new hubs, and then we need to get calipers so that the car actually has calipers.
Doesn't it have calipers right there?
In the rear, but not in the front. So
and they're Bluetooth.
And then in the back, we're gonna run dual. So we need to go get another set of calipers for that. That way everything will be cleaned up, put together, and hopefully it'll look all nice, and that way it's worth kind of everything that we did. So, as always, this is the end. And if you guys have something that you want to see or some type of question, let me know. Hit me up. Shoot me a text on whatever social media platform you want to. I don't care. Just hit me up. Let me know what you guys want to see. This is pretty much just what we're doing, and this video has taken now 2 weeks long. And this is the longest rear subframe job that we've ever done on a car. So yeah, but as always, make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe, all the other good stuff, and I'll see you on the next one.